Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing well. And I hope you're listening with both ears because I am about to issue a PR scam alert. One designed to make Harry and Meghan shine, make them look like martyrs, and one designed to elicit our sympathy. But, guys, if you fall for this, then I have no hope for this world. And then Charles can just as well abdicate and hand the throne to Harry and his 43% Nigerian wife. We still don't know whether the 43% comes from the water she drank, but never mind. I don't even know where to start or how to start this video. I said this before. Because I'm not British, I can't just flip a switch and listen to the latest shenanigans of the royals in the morning or before I get down to making a video. I have to go and read through the Express, the Daily Mail, check out what is in a couple of magazines, and even if I just read the front pages, I still need to get an idea from somewhere. Then I go to Instagram and Twitter to see what people there are talking about. And I read my own private messages, and by the time I'm done, I pretty much have an idea what the day's video will be about. But not so much lately, because one will tell you that Harry and Meghan are on their way back to Britain. Another will tell you that Meghan will never set foot there again. Blah, blah, blah. Is she writing her memoir or isn't she? Is Trevor Ingleson writing a book or isn't he? Are Harry and Meghan splitting up? Will they divorce? Are they on the brink of divorce? Goodness, every day as you open the newspapers, there are more and more articles speculating, not giving facts, speculating on different things. Even one on whether they have changed their minds and will have another child. And another tells us that King Charles is ready to forgive Meghan Markle. But before I get to some of the other nonsense dished up to us on a daily basis, let's talk about Lizzie Gundy saying that King Charles should do what he can to stop Meghan's memoir from being published. I mean, if there is even a memoir. When has Meghan ever finished one of her promised projects? Well, I agree with Lizzie. You see, I don't know and cannot understand how the king's mind works, and we never will, because we did not grow up the way he did and among the people he did. One example, both my parents worked, so we had a housekeeper, but as children, we were not allowed to give our housekeeper instructions. At most, and when we were younger, we were allowed to ask her for some tea. My father just said that he is paying her and not us, and that she is an adult and we are children. So during school breaks, we had to make our own beds and clean up our own toys and messes. So, a young Charles, because everyone was told, and he was fully aware, and so was everyone around him, that he will be king one day. So, of course, he was spoiled and told he could have anything he wanted by his nanny, by his granny, and even by his bodyguard. Of course, we can never understand it because we never experienced it and never know what it did to his personality. So, why exactly he has not stepped in and called a truce or stepped in and brought an end to this back and forth family feud, only he will know. Is the king bored of it, afraid of it, Or is it that he just can't be bothered? Whatever it is, he clearly does not understand what it is doing to him and his family and the monarchy. Almost 90% of us, likely 95% of people on this channel, are aware that the both of them, Harry and Meghan, have a propensity to lie in public without even blushing or blinking. So it's not like we believe all these stories about the other royals and the monarchy as an institution, because we don't. But, and here are a list of buts. Whenever we go searching for the truth or the lie behind their lies or their stories, we often discover things about the royal family which we wished we did not know. One simple example: when I was looking into Harry and Meghan's 11 or 13 LLCs, I discovered that Prince Charles, as he was then, had 5 LLCs registered in his name, and the address is given as Clarence House. So what I'm saying is that what all Harry and Meghan shenanigans are causing is that it opens a door for us to go looking for things we otherwise would not have gone looking for. I mean, I wouldn't have even thought of looking for companies owned by Prince Charles. But because of their 11 or 13 LLCs, in the process of searching and looking into that, I discovered Prince Charles himself had 5 LLCs. Anyway, so you understand what I mean. So, yes, I fully agree with Lizzie that King Charles should step in, step up, and instruct his lawyers to look into this memoir that Meghan Markle is supposedly writing. And the sooner, the better. Prevention is better than cure. But if Meghan's book is a reality, then the book will not only harm the monarchy, but it will definitely harm Harry and Meghan even further. Yes, the book will sell. It will sell just enough copies so the content can spread like wildfire across all platforms: radio, television, newspapers, streaming platforms, and social media. And once we had all spoken about it, given our opinions, who would then buy the book? Or, knowing that a bunch of us will talk about the book, how many people will actually buy it to start off with? At this point, how many people are really still interested to hear what Meghan has to say about the royal family? And who, pray tell, want to hear more stories about her childhood and her teenage years? We already know that regardless of what she said, she did not have to work. We already know she did not only eat Sizzler salad. We already know Doria did not take Meghan to a Korean spa, and so on and so on. Story upon story with very little basis in the truth. So why on earth would anyone want to buy her memoir? What have we not heard yet? Not about her letter to the washing liquid company, hey? Honestly, Meghan herself had overshared these last few years. So all she can still put out are more creative lies and half truths, and all it can do is burn whatever she has left of her reputation. Not that that is indeed very much. So, indeed, when it comes to my opinion and what I think whatever she writes will harm the royal family by association more than it would harm Meghan and Harry. Basically, because they do not have much left that can be damaged more than it already has. Okay, now with all of that said, let's talk about that Don Byline article. I'm going to read to you the introduction paragraph from the article by Dan Evans and Tom Latcham. And don't worry, you can stay because for a change, I am going to side squarely with King Charles III. Okay, so here goes. King Charles pushed the Duke and Duchess of Sussex into commercial deals in the United States by withdrawing £700,000 funding for a trial year in Canada over a royal cash for leaks scandal sparked by journalist Dan Wootton. Now, whoever wrote this bloody article either did not do their homework or has a very, very short memory. And let me explain, because I have now watched 3 videos on the topic and none of them touched the actual provable facts. Harry and Meghan made it known that they are stepping down or stepping away or stepping off the cliff in January 2020. Fact. Okay? At the time, they were staying on Vancouver Island, remember? Well, a little drama takes place and Meghan leaves sooner than expected while Harry stays behind for the Sandringham summit, remember? Of course, we mere mortals will never know exactly what was said at that summit. But one thing which we can bet on is that the Queen said no to half in and half out. But remember, the so-called summit was basically forced on Her Majesty the Queen. Listen up. When Harry and Meghan returned from Canada on the 6th of January, Harry sought a meeting with the Queen, but was told that she would not be available until the 29th of January, which is absolutely normal. That is still part of this Christmas leave that the Queen and Prince Philip used to take. So what did Harry and Meghan do to force the royal family into a meeting and negotiations? Well, Harry and Meghan went ahead and announced their resignation on the 9th of January before the terms of the resignation had been negotiated, and only 10 minutes after the royals were informed of their decision to announce it, and therefore a meeting was hurriedly arranged at Sandringham, where the Queen and Prince Philip were still resting, and obviously for the 13th of January. Now, each of the royals had a trusted aide or advisor in the meeting. William brought Simon Case, the Queen, Samantha Cohen, and Charles brought Clive Alderton. It was clear that Harry did not expect as much pushback as he got, and ultimately he had to choose in or out, and he chose out. Another fallout after the summit was when they were being informed that they could not trademark their Sussex Royal brand. And here you have to listen very carefully because remember, William is currently trademarking the Royal Foundation in the United States. So listen carefully. It's not about the actual trademarking. Listen, the royals have sold what I would call souvenirs for many, many years to generate funds, and thus the decision to not allow Harry and Meghan to trademark Sussex Royal got a bit of an eyelid lift from certain parties. Many people said it was hypocritical. But yes, what was not talked about is the fact that it was indeed because of the actual trademark application and products and services listed on the application. Yes, Megan listed social care services, organizing and conducting emotional support groups, counseling services, emotional support services, provision of personal support services to help care for and support persons in need. Well, number one, Harry and his wife has absolutely no, zilch, nada, nothing experience in providing such services themselves. And two, these are the kind of things the British royal family undertake free of charge as part of their patronage work. So that, my dear friends, is why they were told they could not use Sussex Royal, and not because the Queen thought she owned the word royal. Anyway, now let's get back to the Byline article. Remember, when announcing their split from the royal family, Meghan and Harry also announced that they wanted to be financially independent. Remember that? Actually, it is in their statement, which was published on their website. Anyway, like I said, they wanted to be financially independent from the monarchy. It was also part of the Sandringham settlement agreement that as soon as they step away from their positions, they cannot and will not receive public funds for royal duties anymore. Common sense, because they were not going to be doing royal duties anymore. Now, I want you to remember that when the two had left the United Kingdom in January 2020, they actually went back to Canada. Charles, during all the drama and negotiations, by all accounts, and I mean all accounts, nobody that I've asked, no article that I read actually deviated from it. Charles remained the most calm and most supportive of Harry. And guys, it is not just the newspapers saying so. I heard that from different sources and a great number of people. I was also told that Charles gave Harry a sizable amount of money to help the couple establish themselves in Canada, and that money came out of his private funds. Exactly how much that was, I don't know, but I have it on very, very good authority that it was between 7 and 9 million pounds, and that was the money they used as deposit on their Montecito home, and not Diana's inheritance, as Harry told Oprah in February 2021. Also, when Charles's annual Duchy of Cornwall statements were published, it was also proven that Harry still got his annual stipend from Charles in April 2020. And of course he would, because he still worked for the period prior to that. Any case, that stipend amounts to a portion or amounted to a portion of £4.5 million. So exactly what £700,000 this Byline article refers to, I don't know. Maybe King Charles decided not to pay Harry his stipend because he already gave him £7 to £9 million. I don't know. All I know is that the annual statements for the duchy showed payment to William and Harry in 2020. So I personally prefer to believe black on white statements made by qualified professionals, accountants, attorneys, etc., long before I believe Harry and Meghan or the authors of this Byline article. Now, according to this Byline article, the £700,000 was withdrawn over a cash for leaks scandal sparked by Dan Wootton. Now, let me read the exact paragraph. The financial sanction stemmed from a refusal to remove from legal papers the name of a Kensington Palace aide whose partner was receiving money from the Sun newspaper executive editor allegedly for stories about Megxit and Prince Archie. Now, I personally think there is a huge misunderstanding somewhere. Everyone, for some reason, is looking at Simon Case as the, in inverted commas, culprit that this article is talking about. But I don't think so. Simon Case is married to Elizabeth Kistruck since 2007, and they have two daughters, and they live their lives rather privately. So I think Byline may be referring to Jason Nav and his husband. When the household of William and Catherine and Harry and Meghan split in 2018, Jason Nav decided to stay behind with the Cambridges and moved on to become the head of their foundation. Also remember, it was Meghan who first involved Jason Nuff in her case against the Mail on Sunday when she said that he helped and advised her in her letter to her father. Jason Nuff was also the go-between between Meghan and Harry and Omid Scobie and Carolyn Durant. And yes, and quite rightly, the palace would have asked and advised that they remove his name from the court filings, because if he was called as a witness, he would have had to tell the truth about everything, and that would not have looked good for Harry and Meghan, or indeed helped them any. But of course, the lawyer, Rachel Zane, knew better. Basically, in my opinion, because she thought she's so important, Jason Nuff will lie to a court on her behalf, in my opinion. Anyway, in an interview since the Byline article and before, I mean long before the Byline article, Dan Wootton made it clear that the leak about Mexit came from the Sussex camp. So the notion that Case or Knopf could have been responsible is ludicrous because both of them had left the employ of the Harkles and in Case's case, Kensington Palace altogether. So if the Queen did not know until 10 minutes before the announcement and Charles and William did not know until 10 minutes before the announcement, then how the heck could William's staff have known? Only, and I mean only, Meghan and Harry's staff. could have known. Now, I've heard a couple of objections in the background and a few yes buts. Yes, it is true that there was talk of the Sussexes stepping down since late 2019, and that is why a long holiday away from England, the family, and the job was actually approved. And although the family knew in January that there is a likelihood that it may happen, they had no, and I mean no idea that it was happening so soon. There was no 1 to 3 months of winding up business and winding up charities, etc. No, the Sussexes wanted out. They wanted out on their terms. They wanted out immediately. Stuff their charities, their patronages, and Harry cried about his honorary military appointments which were taken from him. But did he even think about that when he made up his mind to go? I do not think so. So, my dears, unless or until Byline and the authors of this article can name names, reveal their sources, and provide proof of their allegations, it is my opinion that it is all the biggest load of hogwash. You guys know that I can be very, very critical of the monarchy, and in particular the king. But in this instance, I really, honestly, and truly cannot place any blame on the king. As a matter of fact, I think the king was way too patient, way too kind, and far too lenient with Harry and Meghan. And I mean by far. As for cutting his darling boy off, we saw the king's statements for that year. But where is Harry's? We have not seen any financial statements of Harry's accounts. So after all the provable lies, we should believe Harry and Meghan's vile narrative over published statements put out by professional people? I do not think so. Okay, guys, I believe the Byline article or piece came in 3 parts, so I'll go look for the other 2 parts and see whether they are even worth talking about. Okay? So, until we meet again, right back here, please take good care of yourselves. Bye.